My name is Pavel Matveev. I'm co-CEO of Wirex. It's really great to be here, and thanks Team Nana for organizing this event. So we have, I think, slightly less than 30 minutes. So we'll be doing 15-20 minutes the main presentation, mainly talking, it will be like a Wirex overview of what we're doing and a bit about our roadmap and plans. And then we have 10 minutes Q&A. So before we start, just out of curiosity, how many of you at any point had a Wirex card or Wirex account? Could you raise your hands? Okay, excellent. So looks like a few of you are familiar with Wirex and what we're doing, so I'll just briefly mention key facts. So Wirex was founded in 2014, so one of the pioneers cryptocurrency market, and our main idea was to use Bitcoin back in the day, so to use digital assets later on for payment use cases. So the payment, cross-border international payment, everyday payments, and machine-to-machine payments was always our focus. Right now, there is more than 200 employees in the company. Almost entire platform built in-house, so we don't outsource anything. We FCA regulated in UK. Again, it's quite a big milestone for crypto-related companies. As you probably know, it's even a challenge for some companies to open a bank account, not even talking about getting a license. And we are backed by SoftBank and SBI Group. Again, so the same fact, just different format. So we have offices in several countries. So London is a headquarter. We have Atlanta, Toronto, Singapore, Tokyo, and we have R&D center in Kiev. So we are planning to open offices in Mexico and Brazil. So usually people ask me, like, why you have office in Tokyo, why you have office in Singapore, but it actually highlights where we're planning to expand. And again, I have a separate slide about this, but right now we have 2.5 million customers, retail customers, and 5,000 corporate customers. Most of our customers, active customers right now in Europe and Asia. So we're planning to launch in Asia and North America quite soon, but again, I'll come back to this point just in a minute. So let's talk about what we're doing, but just before I talk about the product itself, I just wanted to highlight a few things about our vision. So as I mentioned, we started a company with a vision to bring digital assets into mainstream or mass adoption in a payment space. So the payment space was always our focus. Again, everyday payments, cross-border international payments, and we do believe machine-to-machine payments will be quite big industry in very near future. Again, so if you're familiar with machine-to-machine payments, by 2020 there will be 25 billion of connected devices. So connected devices basically means the device connected to the internet. Smartphone, smart TV, smart parking meter, whatever. So everybody understands, okay, all these devices, they need to do microtransactions at some point. And unfortunately, you can't do it with traditional banking instruments. We also big believers in a token economy, and we do believe there will be thousands of digital assets in very near future. Again, there are different assets, there are more than 200 tokens right now, but we believe that with all these assets, they can be used for transfer value and payment. At the same time, our approach is quite pragmatic. We understand that most of the tokens, most of the digital assets, at its current state can't exist on its own. So they need some sort of integration into existing banking or payment infrastructure, into legacy infrastructure. So it's kind of the first step towards token economy and fully digital economy, and fully digital payments. But based on our experience and what we see is going on in the industry, we're actually progressing quite fast towards P2P payments and token economy. So with this in mind, let's talk about the product and what we're offering. So we have two products. One is a retail or B2C product, and one is for corporates. So on retail side, we offer mobile wallet with multiple accounts where you can keep your Nano and GBP 50-50, or you can keep everything in GBP or everything in Nano. It's really up to you. And we give you a Visa card, so you can use your funds everywhere. So the basic idea here is that, again, the merchant adoption for cryptocurrencies, it will take time. There are a lot of different systems, a lot of different POC terminals, a lot of different legacy infrastructure. So when we introduced 4 years ago the cryptocurrency debit card, our idea was, okay, let's actually use existing merchant network, which is 40 million of merchants in more than 200 countries right now, and give people an opportunity to use their digital assets right now. And it's what we're doing. So we give you a wallet where you keep your funds any way you want. You can exchange one currency to another instantly, and you can spend your funds, again, instantly with Visa card. We have again, the platform became much more sophisticated from the first time we launched like 4 years ago. So we have a couple of things which is quite unique on the market. So one of them is what we call cryptoback, but it's basically cashback in cryptocurrency. So every time you use our card, we give you 0.5% back in digital assets. And it's quite interesting, but because of this feature, we see a lot of people who are not familiar with cryptocurrency actually using our card. Because we have a kind of a challenger bank functionality, so we give you a bank account in GBP, you can receive, send funds, pay bills, whatever. But in addition, we give you 0.5% back. And what we see that a lot of people who are afraid of cryptocurrency, not familiar with it all, they use our cards because they can get cryptocurrency without buying cryptocurrency. So in our sense, this is a quite interesting way how we actually acquire new customers who are not really familiar with digital assets, right? For a retail product, it's quite important because cryptocurrency industry is growing, big and bigger audience is growing, but it's still relatively small industry compared to the mass market. So for us, it's a kind of hook for kind of customers, like general crowd. We also the only company who give access to OTC rates. So OTC stands for over-the-counter market. As you probably know, the volume which goes through over-the-counter market is much higher than volume traded on exchanges. So different kind of reports, but from 80 to 90% are traded on OTC market. And depends on the currency pair, true, but it's in general quite bigger market than an exchanges. And on OTC market, you can usually get very good price, but it's only available to institutional investors, so big traders. Again, there are different OTC trading desks, but usually the ticket starts from 100 to 200K per order. Because of our volume, we can have access to all these OTC rates and over-the-counter market, and we give it to retail customers. Again, nobody right now is doing this, so it's another competitive advantage. In addition, we obviously support multiple fiat currencies, around 26 currencies, and we support Nano as well. Again, Nano is actually one of our top currencies. On B2B side, or on corporate side, we have kind of similar solution, but mainly focus on businesses. And just before I go through the feature list, I'd like to explain you the kind of idea and why we actually introduced this product in the first place. So when we started in 2014, it was almost impossible to open a bank account in UK. I think when we started, we were talking to 15 different banks to open a bank account for expenses. So it was a challenge. As kind of industry were progressing and becoming bigger, these challenges, they kind of disappear, but it's still a challenge to get access to banking infrastructure, to get access to a good interbank FX rates, or to open bank accounts in more than 26 currencies. As we were building our retail product, we realized that, look, we integrated with 10 exchanges, with 3 OTC brokers, with multiple banks, and the card processing. And we realized that if we can package this in a product and we give access to corporates, we actually can help with cryptocurrency adoption in general and can solve a lot of pain points for businesses. So it's called Wirex Business. So main focus is corporates, SMEs, who is dealing with digital assets or traditional FX. Again, there are no similar solution on the market in the world right now who give you access corporate bank accounts in 26 currencies with digital assets, OTC interbank rates. It's quite interesting freemium pricing model. So if you're doing a low volume, you get everything for free. We don't charge anything. As you progress, you can pay subscription fee if you need the higher limits, for example. Again, it's very affordable. It's much cheaper than all the big banks charging you, and you don't need to do a lot of integration. So it's kind of one-stop solution. So you have a corporate accounts, you have digital assets, Nano wallet, you have exchange, instant exchange one to another, because we plugged into OTC rates, so liquidity pool is quite deep. So you can exchange $10, so you can exchange 5 million. It's fine. We have enough liquidity. And onboarding is quite fast as well compared to traditional banking, which may take, I don't know, weeks, months, sometimes if we're talking about big banks like HSBC or Barclays. So in our case, it's rather a couple of days rather than a couple of weeks. So this product is quite new. We launched it, I think, a couple of months ago. In the first week, we've got 5,000 applicants from cryptocurrency businesses without any marketing. So yeah, it's doing well, and we keep adding new features. So if you have a cryptocurrency business, it's probably a solution you're looking for. So let's talk about plans and roadmap. So this is our projection in terms of a client base. So right now we have 2.5 million registered customers. We're planning to have, and as you can see, we were kind of doubling our client base every year from the first year. So the plan for this year is to have 5 million and 25 million in a couple of years. On B2B side, again, it's progressing quite well. The numbers is a bit outdated, so you see like 100 clients there. But corporates is a different product, but we do believe there will be quite nice progress there given the low competition and competitive advantages we have. So this is kind of our roadmap, but we have kind of two streams how we planning to grow. So one is geographical expansion. So we're planning to launch Asia Pacific. There are 8 countries in Asia Pacific and North America within a couple of months. So in Asia Pacific, for example, we spent 1.5 years for set up in banking relationship, visa approvals, and all these sort of things. So we're actually testing cards right now. The same in the US and Canada. So once we launch card in these markets, it will be available for nano community, and which is quite relevant, I think, for this audience and for this meeting. We also planning to launch Japan in later this year. Japan is a very interesting market. Again, if you're interested in licensing in Japan, you can ask me on Q&A. But we've been in Japan for 3 years. We were kind of growing very fast there. We got probably 80,000 customers in Japan until Japanese regulator FSA introduced licensing. The thing with licensing, it was very friendly to local companies because they had a grandfather law which allowed 16 exchanges to operate without licenses. But the only requirement was that the business had to be incorporated in Japan. And in our case, we were not at this time, and because of that, we had to stop our operation in Japan, and we're currently going through a licensing process. Again, just remind you, Japan is one of maybe a couple of countries which regulates digital assets, right? So, and everything takes time in Japan. Licensing takes time as well. So we have India and Asia for next year, but as you see, we keep expanding geographically. It's probably the easiest way for us to increase our audience because of a low competition and because of a unique solution we have. But at the same time, other streams, we keep adding new features on B2C side and on B2B side as well. So this was kind of a short overview of Wirex, and I think we are ready for questions.
Why were you successful in getting debit cards that can be used when other companies have done the same but have gotten their permissions restricted later?
Well, I wouldn't comment other companies, but our focus was always building stuff rather than giving empty promises. So it's probably one of the reasons why we succeeded. In terms of the requirements for getting a Visa card, so there are a couple of ways how you can get access to a Visa card. So one, you can work with a partner who has the licensing or Visa licensing as well. The second part, if you licensed entity yourself, you can apply for Visa MasterCard principal license. And again, it's kind of a licensing process. There is a capital requirements as well. It's very time intensive and kind of process. So as I mentioned, in APAC, for example, it took us 1.5 years just to go through all the approvals, multi-currency approval from Visa, from local regulator, and so on. So it's not impossible, but it's just to manage expectations, it's very resource intensive.
Is there any plans to improve or sort of fix Wirex's implementation of Nano? Because as it is at the moment, once every few days, the hot wallet of Nano for Wirex is completely empty, and you can't transfer Nano off Wirex. Is there any plans to fix that?
Well, if there is a problem, it should be fixed for sure. It's actually good that you let me know, so I'm pretty sure we can fix it quite quickly.
Hi, Pavel. Just a quick question. So I really enjoyed the crypto-backed scheme. Is there any idea where Nano might be incorporated in the future?
Yes, it's possible. So again, it's kind of a more open discussion, but there is no technical limitation why we can't pay crypto back in Nano. Okay. So technically it's possible. It's just more kind of question of Wirex and Nano management sitting and deciding what we want to do.
What is the average fee conversion between fiat and crypto right now, and how low do you think that fee can go?
So what average what?
The average fee conversion between cryptocurrencies and fiat money?
So this is a good question. But there is no simple answer. There is no kind of flat fee. So the fee, it depends on the currency pair. So the fee is lower for kind of more liquid currencies and higher for more exotic currencies. And it really depends, because on the back end, we work on 10 exchanges and 3 OTC brokers. So some of the fees we bypass from our partners. But you need also to take into consideration, when you talk about the fees, you need to take into consideration the base rate. The thing with our system is that our base underlying rate is much better than the rate you can find on some of the exchanges because of the OTC market. So even with the fee, the rate is quite competitive. So I don't have a simple answer. There is no kind of simple number. It depends on currency pair, it depends on the order depth. Yeah. And you need also take into consideration this kind of the base rate. Because what a lot of companies are doing in the industry, they include the fee in a base rate, and then they can show it, a lower fee, and they think, okay, this is how they want to market it. But our underlying rate is decent, and our spread is very tiny.
It is the Polish in the currency. It can be Wirex, as my friend is used it, and is mass euro card is taken. Is no exist Polish currency is Wirex.
Good point. So we keep expanding the list of currencies. So this problem will disappear very soon, especially. I'm not supposed to talk about this, but we're planning to launch a multi-currency card. So this problem with local currencies in Europe, they will disappear.
You mentioned WPay, a machine-to-machine payment interface or system. What do you envision being the first application that you're going to target with that?
So I think it's still kind of early days, right? So our machine-to-machine plans right now, it's a vision state. So we do understand this is a huge area. Again, there are just billions of connected devices. The challenge is that I personally don't know any company who actually found a solution for that. I'm convinced it will be digital assets. It can be nano. But again, we do believe it's a huge area, and we're just trying to find a way how we want to be integrated into it. We don't have a solution right now for M2M. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.